Hello, welcome to Rooms with You. This is a bit of a special episode. It's been 3 months. I think this is our 15th episode. To celebrate, to celebrate, we're being relaxed. We might have a few beers, hence that. And we just wanted to take stock and just to have the whole crew here together and just have a bit of a relaxed one, a bit more laid back than usual. Please like and subscribe. Share #RoomView. I am DJ Lipper.
I'm Aja.
Who's everyone else?
I'm Tanya.
I'm the famous artist Birdie Rose.
Real name Tracy. Hi, I'm Iris.
Chitsy Maria on Twitter.
Hey. So, to start everything off, I thought we'd go with the story of the week, which is become known as Rainbow Dildo Butt Monkey. Iris, over to you.
Okay, so as we probably all know, but I'll go through it quickly. Redbridge Council Vision, because they work on behalf of Redbridge Council, hired this Visit Mandinga Arts, hired them to be part of their reading program. So the best people they thought to send were these two really lovely lizards. I think the lizards are frogs, and then a rainbow monkey with a bare butt and what looked like a dildo.
Shall I share the video so people can see?
Please, yeah.
This is a real thing. We're not making this up. Can we see it?
Yeah. There it is.
So, a reading challenge. The best way to celebrate this is with this, apparently.
Yep. Lizard, strawberry, and dildo butt monkey. So obviously the thing is, the specific area they send them it's got a high population of Muslim people. So when it went down and it happened, it blew up on the community pages. It blew up. That's how I found out about it. And then obviously it filtered down towards Twitter, and then it just blew up, exploded. So anyway, the parents were already unhappy with Redbridge because of their PHSE curriculum. They're not happy with how they're dealing with that.
Is this the the new sex education curriculum that's been put out across all British schools?
Yeah.
There's no nuance there. Yeah.
They don't feel like they're being listened to. And then you had this incident, which to them means that they're not only not being listened to, but they're not being thought about or consulted on the type of things that can be shown around their kids. So they arranged a demo, which I went along to. It were really lovely people that gathered. There were some speeches. I spoke to a couple of people as well. Some of the women, again, were concerned with the things in the curriculum, which they're not being listened to, by the way. They feel like they're being dismissed because there's some sort of higher power that's more important than what they believe or want for their kids. So they're being sidestepped. And then, of course,
familiar. It sounds familiar.
So that's the story as such, and what's happening with the community about it.
Shall we share a video of one of the speeches? Shall I get this up? Because I think this is worth putting up there. Hang on, I'm going to try and get the right one now because I'm always. Which one is it? The top This one.
It's nice to see that there are so many parents from all across Redbridge. After what we saw on Saturday, I can't begin to imagine how angry I felt. And I'm sure with seeing all this crowd here, with all these signs, they let kids be kids. That's all it's about. It's not about trying to go against one particular group or anything. What we saw on Saturday infuriated me. I was with my nephew at the time, and I had his my phone. And kids by nature are curious. They want to ask what's happening. How would I have told to a 2-year-old what that man is wearing down there? How can you tell to your kids that those people in those costumes are trying to change the way kids can be kids? I'm afraid the council and Jazz Atco and its responses to the constituents has been nothing but condescending so far. We have not been listened to, we have not been heard, and time has come that our voices in this council are listened to all across. It's not just the Muslim parents or any parents, we're all outraged, and this, what we saw, outraged equally in the same measure. So tonight, it's not just about trying to understand what happened on Saturday. Saturday was a standalone incident. What we need to see is whether, if someone had not taken those pictures, what would have happened then? It would have carried on. I mean, we are right outside MILLI, and when I saw the pictures of Muslim women, right, Muslim women, and that person with their back out towards them, how embarrassing is that to us, to our community, and to Redbridge as a whole? So we say to Jazz today, Jazz,
I'll remove that now because I think that gets the salient points there.
Yeah,
Well,
I think that was.
He said that he said it's a standalone incident. No, it's not.
It's not. Well, as far as they knew at the
Not a
time,
standalone incident.
I've since pointed them to other things that have been going on, like in the forest.
Yeah, who was that? Who was that who was talking at the steps?
Right, he was the guy that Jazz, the council leader, called Johnny Come Lately.
When he raised
is he the guy that said that? Is he?
Yeah, when he was there was two
absolute
guys that raised the issue initially on Twitter, and they at him to tell him what was going on, but he only responded to him, and that was obviously in a very insulting way.
Yes,
of course.
Was that response from the leader of the council?
Yeah,
he's the leader of the council. That's
the leader of the council, yeah. And I think part of the insult wasn't just because he was angry; it's because they're from rival political sides.
Yeah.
So Has is Conservative council for Barkingside. He's what's it called? He's been put forward for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a fight at the moment because of everything that's going on. There's a fight in the borough. I would say the next elections are going to be very, very close. Very close, because the parents have had enough. And we're not just talking about Muslim parents. On our community pages, you had all parents upset about this. But they were the ones that went out and did that little mini protest.
Well, telling parents not to look, telling parents their children shouldn't be looking doesn't work, does it?
No.
No, I think it's really, really dangerous to be saying to children that they're in the wrong for looking when they've got a monkey penis dangling in their face.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the leash pack thing where it's like, just tell the kids not to look. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, can you imagine where he's jumping up and down in front of the cars? If you're driving past and you've got kids in the car, you're like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Don't look while you're driving.
Do you know what it is? Well, I've seen other images of that troop. Like, it was not a one-off incident. No. There's footage of them in the monkey suits with lots of children and just people in general, and all of the body language of the people is like this. It's like, because they're not allowed to react.
Would cry. I think my little one would be crying. She really would be frightened. She knows that, men's bit. She goes to the, like, she's 7 now, so she wants privacy when she goes to the bathroom, you know. She knows, and she would be really frightened if my little ones fall that. But those outfits didn't have the dildo at first.
No.
So someone decided to put those on there, and
At
I
some
can't
point.
think it's porn. They're so porn drenched. Everyone watches porn. That whoever put those on there watches porn, and it's normalised. It's just everything's normal. It's fine.
Yeah.
Did anybody see the reaction of the library when they were first challenged with the footage?
Yeah, the library said if you've got it, flaunt it.
Yeah. They thought it was really funny.
Normal.
When they tried to buy it, they even knew about it.
Oh, we didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
After that.
Yeah,
They did
said
at that
if you got
point.
it, flaunt
They
it.
did, because they were sharing all the photos that Mandinga Art was sending them. They were sharing it, so they knew. And by the way, can I just say
Absolutely
this?
ridiculous.
It's not actually a penis.
Is it
It's
not?
actually, no, it's testicles.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look at some of the
But
pictures, you've got two.
okay, there's two issues here. One, it looks like a penis,
It
and
does.
two, why do they need to
true.
include testicles?
Yeah.
They don't need to, do they? That's not
Yeah, whether
necessary.
it's a penis or testicles, it's not necessary because they did fine without it
'Cause
beforehand.
People were saying, "Oh, it's anatomically correct," and then I saw
No,
other
it's
people going,
not.
"Oh, and what? Rainbow fur is anatomically correct, is it?" Like,
No, it's
They
not.
found it funny. They thought it was funny, and none of us found it funny.
No.
No parents found that hilarious. but
No, not at
I
all.
just-
It's weird that
and I'm
there's
sure the
no
children didn't find it funny.
woman monkey. Where's the woman monkeys with their
Yes.
breasts and their vulva?
Absolutely. And I've seen a woman wearing the suit. I've seen a woman wearing it. So why are they all male and why are they all got testicles hanging in the front?
Well,
What idea was it?
to be honest, I don't want to sound like tinfoil hat, but it's not tinfoil hat. I feel like this is all part of like grooming society.
Yeah.
Lowering our boundaries, normalizing this sort of behavior, making it like anybody who challenges it is either
Was a
religious fundamentalist or a prude, or
Well, it sounds like that's what happened in the 80s with pie. You know, they made it
Yeah.
so that people were uncomfortable to challenge it because if you challenged it, you were in the wrong. And it sounds like pie come back with steroids and all this other shit going on, and monkey suits and fucking whatever it is they're doing.
Furry.
They've come back twice as strong with superpowers.
who
It's like
is Pi?
super pedos.
Well, who is Pi for the viewers that might not be aware of the?
The paedophile information exchange. They were a movement in the 80s, weren't they? I
Yeah.
weren't there. I wasn't born yet, thank God. Sounds awful.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried. They got a lot of backing from some MPs.
They did.
Harriet Harman.
And a lot of backing from the
Harriet
left.
Harman, that's it. And her husband.
Harriet Harman used to work for Amnesty, and they were called Liberty, I think, at the time. They had a different name, and they were taking forward a case for the paedophile information exchange
Yeah.
to say
They've got a lot of backing from the left, and they did similar tactics to today. When, like, if you question it or you oppose it, it's because you're a right wing bigot. They did similar things to that. I'm not sure if they used those words, but it was, from what I've read of it, it was that sort of feeling.
Yeah.
You're not progressive.
Mhm.
Well,
Exactly.
do you know what I find really ironic about this is the left like to use, I think, a lot of Muslims as like a shield and talk a lot about Islamophobia, yet they don't really seem to respect Muslims' views when it comes to social conservative issues, which actually, I think, like what you were saying with regards to like the general population are not on side. Most white working classes, I don't think that's a valid category, but most working class people are social conservatives generally, you know, like small C conservatives, you know, and this sort of stuff is gonna. That's why they can't get voted in the North. And I tell you one thing, this is something that I've seen from local politics in Oldham, my town. It's similar to Redbridge. It's got a large Muslim constituency, a large poor white working class community, and they're not having any of this. And I've seen councillors go from Labour to Conservative in the past few years, and I think the Labour vote is going to get lost. They've lost the red wall in the next election. They've lost the win, and they're going to lose the Muslim vote, and that's a huge power block that they're not going to have anymore. And
we don't get fetish on the council estate. There's no furries walking around and, you know, pups and leather, and I've never seen anything like that on the council estate I grew up in. We don't do that. You know, we're very conservative. We have fetish, but we keep that in the bedroom. That's private. You know, that is not displayed.
Keep your fetishes in the bedroom. I'm not even judging people who have fetishes. Just do it privately and don't talk about it. That's what I don't want to see your kids.
Well, that's what I don't like.
That was part of the excitement, was being secretive, but that's all gone. But no, working class, and I class, you know, Bangladesh, Black, Jamaican, we're all in it together. And where I live, there's no segregation because we're an island, so we've all grown up together. My council estate was not all white, and I can tell you now, like, all of them would say that is disgusting. You don't put that in front of our kids. You don't put dildos and testicles in front of our kids.
Yeah, I mean, religion didn't come into it at all. It just happened to be that particular religious group that objected the loudest and did something about it. You know.
Do you think there's something to that though? Like, because I have noticed there is not a trend, but there are Christian religious people that are willing to accept things like trans because they're opposed to being like homosexual. So there's that going on, and I just wonder if there's something to some communities being braver than others in terms of speaking out against this, and some having a vested interest in not speaking out against it because it's part of the politics of something else. Because I see this as connected to the ideology
I thought those parents in Redbridge were working class. They had working class access.
Do you think it has more to do with class than anything else?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's more class.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think
as well. I think that the working classes speak out because the Rainbow Dildo Butt Monkey, he's not going around to like Chelsea. He's not going to the Chelsea Flower Show and getting his dick out. You know what I mean? They would have something to say if he turned up at, like, I don't know, like, it feels like this is the reason why it's all being put on us. The problems with self-ID, the prisons, that's going to affect working class communities. Rooms, you know, like if you go to like a posh bar or whatever, the toilets are nice, they're all self-contained, the locks all work. Whereas if you're trying to go for a piss in like the coach station, like that's where you're going to worry about the streets. It's not going to be wine bar and like whatever. Do you know what I mean? So like all these things, you understand it because you don't go to clubs where you have to sit like that. I have to sit like that in a normal bar or club. You're usually sitting like that, aren't you? Because the toilet door isn't shutting properly. Like I
put one foot up. I put one foot up on the door. It was a bit of a weird way to wee, but there you go. But that makes
don't forget these parents are what I call progressive, in that their objections nothing to do with LGB and trans. It's to do with having a choice of how their children are brought up and what they're prepared for them to learn at a certain age. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's really fair.
Yeah. Apparently, some of the stuff that has been taught that they object to are starting at age 5 and 6. To say no, we don't want that. Age 10 upwards, they're fine. They're fine with age because that's when puberty hits. There's certain things they need to know, etc. But younger than that, they're not happy with it.
See, I think I connect everything back to gender ideology because a lot of it does seem to stem back to that. But I totally see where you're coming from with that, where parents are worried about what their kids are being taught. I think that's completely fair.
Yeah, I think there's two arguments to be had, and I think I heard a bit of that in the speeches, and I think one of them is what right do parents have to teach their children about the birds and the bees? Is that a private matter? And I think that's getting conflated with this stuff that is blatant safeguarding pushback, and I think we should be able to separate them. I think the age appropriate sex education is vital. And I don't think that you need to have a religious element to that. Like I, for example, wouldn't want my kids to see a curriculum that teaches 5 and 6 year olds how to masturbate, which is in the current curriculums.
Yeah.
And I don't think that I should have to have a religious exemption to oppose that. And I think there could be great alliances to be built if we just keep it on a level of this is not for children. This is let kids be kids. This is not about religion. This is about decency.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what you just said. Is exactly what they feel.
Yeah.
But if they don't feel able to say things like being taught to masturbate, being taught other things, they don't feel able to speak that, so they say it a different way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, rainbow dildo butt monkey. How is that a sentence? How is that a funny?
There actually is a rainbow butt monkey.
I wrote it on Facebook.
Yeah, did you see it? It's real. They've got huge. No. I had a look, and is
it a real thing? Is it a real
thing?
What?
There's actually a monkey with a huge butt, and it swells up, and the size of it depends. I don't know. It's difficult to describe. And their coats,
is it rainbow coloured?
The coats at the front is actually rainbow coloured. Yeah. Like,
So this is actually anatomically correct.
No, it's not. No. This is a totally different. I doubt very much they went.
This is a different monkey.
It's just a coincidence. It's a coincidence. I think it's just an outfit they came up with, and
This is one thing that worries me. This is one thing aside from all the joking of butt monkeys and stuff. The rainbow washing of paedophilia. It's something that I worry about. With me and Chloe, like I don't know, like I don't feel unsafe walking the streets together, but I worry that in the future, whatever's happening, we're going to get the pushback because it's the LGBT, and people don't see distinctions between LGBT and T, and people don't see the further distinction between the T and the Q, which is the queer, which is where a lot of this is coming from. To be perfectly honest, they
don't see the distinction between fetish and orientation.
No, because for them, they're all straights, and
because orientation.
So that's what they're saying. Why they put with together, because they think we're nasty, horrible people, and that's what really drives me.
Yeah, but they're saying that the orientation is the fetish.
Yeah.
Dangerous stuff. It's grim.
Have any of you guys seen? I forget. One of our groups on Facebook, someone shared a picture of a Time magazine that was I think they said it was from 5 years ago, and the cover was a bunch of toilet paper but the colors of the rainbow flag, and it was about, and then the cover said issues about sex segregated bathrooms and locker rooms, and so everyone was having a conversation about the fact that they were bringing in, LGBT, they were putting LGBT together with like sex-based rights, like on the cover of the magazine, and how like they were already pushing it like years ago.
I believe they have been slowly, so slow that we've just sleepwalked into it, haven't we?
Yeah, we're the boiling frogs.
Yeah.
It's the forced team.
I said that with pride just then. Like, I'm not proud of that. Sorry.
It's the forced teaming element. They did it with the first off, they did it with LGB and the T, and that's putting people who have diametrically opposed things together. And now I've noticed when it comes to things like the UN, they're linking LGB and women's rights. That's being conflated, sexual identity rights and sex rights are now being conflated. Gender studies became women's studies.
Yeah.
And these LGBT's rights are now conflicting. I don't know, like the queer is just
they're clashing, aren't they? They're clashing.
It's a really good point, actually, because you can't talk about women's rights without being accused of being opposed to LGBTQIA+. whatever.
Mm.
Like, so women's rights are now homophobic and transphobic and queerphobic and asexual phobic and whatever it is.
When the real homophobia is anything usually having to do with trans stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've received the worst homophobic abuse online from queer rights activists. I was abused on an XR Extinction Rebellion. I think it was an LGBT group, and I was told by a trans woman. I was asked, on my profile picture, it's me and Chloe, and they said, "Oh, which one of you is the dom, and which one of you is the sub? Which one of you takes it, and which one of you gets it?" And I was like, I reported. I was like, guys, admins, please, this is a homophobic abuse. Do you know what happened when I reported it to the admins? I got kicked out of the group for being transphobic.
What?
Yes. So, and I've never received.
Reduce you to a porn. He's just reduced you to porn actions that have nothing to do with lesbians.
But that's
And
that's why young girls don't want to be lesbians.
Yeah. Don't want to. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Sad.
But so Mandinga, they've issued an apology, haven't they?
Yeah.
And
Have
they're
they?
never going to work with kids again. That's them done.
Oh
They
my
are
God.
done.
What did their apology say? Did it say, we're really sorry for getting our fake penises out that were not penises, they were just balls?
Mistake.
And
The
also
male
stop being
designer-
obsessed
I'm just
with our
gonna say
genitals.
But Birdie, it was a male designer. You fucking know it. Who's watching fucking loads of porn, and they are done for. So they'll rebrand, but I don't think
They didn't
anyone-
apologize. They didn't apologize for the suits. They
That's right.
apologized for having it at the event. It wasn't appropriate to the event with kids. They didn't actually say, "We're sorry, we have this suit with the dangling balls." Yeah.
Well, do you know what? That's fair enough, because that's fair enough, because they're probably not sorry for having a suit with
No, they're
dangling
not.
balls that look like penises. So they should be truthful and say they're not sorry for that.
Well,
The wolf
we've
picture.
got who is rest. I don't know who Rest in Peace Full Nutmeg is. She's like a Twitter journalist, isn't she?
Yeah.
And nothing passes her by. She will keep an eye on that group. She will have files on them. You're warned, Mandinga, because she will have everything. She's got all the dirt, and she never lets go. I don't know who she is. I have no
We should
idea.
give her on the show. We can get her on, we'll anonymise her face. We can give her an anonymous voice.
Who's this?
She's got the
We
dirt on
should do an
everyone,
article.
and in 5
Rips
years'
for
time, when
nutmeg.
they've rebrand or they've come back, she's going to be pulling out all the stuff that she's got on file. I love you. We are not worthy.
I missed it. Who are we talking about?
Yeah, I love that woman.
R.I.P.
Who are we
Nutmeg.
talking about? I missed it.
R.I.P. Nutmeg.
Oh,
Rest in peace,
yeah.
Nutmeg.
Legend.
Did you just say the name?
Nutmeg.
I
Nutmeg.
just call her Nutmeg. Yeah, I call her Nutmeg. Yeah.
Nutmeg.
Yeah.
She's gonna love
She's written an article.
Yeah, let's
Have you
get
seen
Nutmeg
it?
on.
No.
Have a look on the timeline and read her articles. Really good. Yeah.
Well, she's
Well,
not
we
gonna
should
let
link
that
it in the bottom of this video.
Yeah, I'll put a
We
link.
should link the article here.
Do we want to
Definitely.
see
And then I can come back to this video and read it. Sorry.
have we got anything else to say about this story before we move on?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
Just never do it again. Never do it again.
Yeah.
Put
You know what?
testicles on our children again.
Yeah.
It's going to happen again. We're going to do another episode, and we're going to be like, oh my god,
They did it again.
there's some other little bottom board. You know what I mean? Some other little placement.
We're watching you now.
Yeah, you
Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Not me.
So, not you. Hey, I'll go next.
No, you please.
I'll take over. So we've got I keep calling her Milli Vanilli. It's terrible. I know. So what's happened to her is as bad as the song. No, her name is Millie Hill. I'm sorry. Every time it's Milli Vanilli. Right, Millie Hill. She's an author. I'm so. I'm not even drunk. I just had half a lager. Anyway, so
Catch up. Come on.
I remember that.
You can
Millie
talk.
Hill. She's an author and founder of the Positive Birth Movement, and she's an author of the Positive Birth book. Last November, it's International Women's Day, and she replies to a post calling women birthing people. On International Women's Day, this poor woman, Millie, I just feel so sorry for her. She replies to it saying, I don't feel that's like the best term to use. It is women that are on the receiving end of obstetric violence in pregnancy and childbirth. And she just faced, hell, just utter hell. You're a bigot, just we should burn your books, everything J.K. Rowling went through. And she's not as famous as her. She's not a big earner. Even though she's a writer, she's not a big earner. Anyway, she's on the Philia podcast with Raquel Rosario Sanchez. So give it a listen.
We'll do a little.
Yeah, she just goes through everything that she went through from that day. Yeah. So J.K. Rowling today tweets her out. Which is brilliant.
She blew it up.
She did. Oh, I love JK. So she's just she basically has said, look, we can all see who the Death Eaters are. I've got your back. Promoted her book. Yeah, I love her.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Did she say that?
She's literally said that we're not scared of you. That's what that tweet is. We're not scared of you anymore. Come for us.
So good.
Yeah. Anyway,
Death Eaters.
I saw.
Millie Hill. She has 400 support groups going. 400 breastfeeding support groups going.
Oh my
That's all been wound down.
God.
She's had to wound down. And that has really fucking annoyed me because I have been there. My first didn't suckle, she didn't latch on, and the nurse said, oh, she's a lazy baby, and I was like, oh, okay, and I was a bit robust. The second, my Lily, she didn't latch on, and I'm a failure, and I'm crying, she's hungry for 2 days, and she wouldn't latch on. I would have needed that. If I'd known about such a group, I would have been in that group, because I felt such a failure, and that's all of those groups gone because of saying only women suffer from obstetric violence in pregnancy.
God.
And I feel so bad for those women out there that have got, that's a resource gone and support just gone. You can't have anything nice, you're not allowed. It's just, it's supposed to be a special time as well, isn't it? That's not allowed. I'm so angry about this. So I was looking at the BMJ British Medical Journal, okay? January this year, they reported that it's black women are 4 times more likely to die in childbirth. Asian women, Muslim backgrounds, are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth, and women just living in deprived areas are 2 times more likely to die in childbirth and just have problems during pregnancy, miscarriage, all that sort of thing. And this is that's not helping. This is not helping them, is it?
No.
This is what people want to concentrate on is our language and how we being policing language when the most vulnerable women are going to be cut off from those support groups, and we should be talking about black women, Muslim women. That's what we should.
Migrant women as well. I think it's really important when it comes to language. One thing that I've really struggled with is how are women who have English as a second language going to understand words like person with a cervix? Even like a lot of normie women won't know what a cervix haver is. I've got a degree and I had to look up cervix. Like what? Like the average reading age in the United Kingdom, this might shock you, but the average reading age is 11 years old.
Wow, what?
Yeah, it's true. Like you can Google it, look it up. The average competency level of the average Brit is an 11-year-old.
It used to be 10.
can't be. What?
How?
Going back to
I
my
believe that.
going back to my education studies in the early 2000s at uni, it used to be 10,
Yeah.
and mainly boys, and now it's increased.
Well, it's got a year on it, but I mean, all of this language, all it does is cut people off from the information that they need to be able to provide good care for their children and to.
Or puts people off. It would put
Yeah.
women off joining such groups, or they don't
Yeah.
know what the hell they're talking
Oh,
about.
it really
and they're not gonna join
pisses me
them
off.
because the language don't make any sense. Also, I was thinking about the women that are in these groups. So if you listen to the Ophelia podcast, she talks about how the birthing world is split. It is literally split in half over this, right? Forget about the black women.
But
dying
how?
in child-
How? Men
This
are
is
not
what
having
split the-
babies. How is this split?
Yeah, well, it is. And this is what she's saying in the podcast. And I just
You're
think, how many
making me
women
point too.
are in groups being told, shut up or else? You know,
Hang on.
At a very vulnerable time in their lives, and they're being
Yeah.
told by other, and it is women. We've got to talk about this. It is women, like
Women, handmaidens of the patriarchy.
They're not
they
happy.
are,
Women don't
and
get
they are
a
making
choice,
others
that would be.
miserable, and vilified MILLI to the point where she's. I'm just devastated for the women that are. I know, because I've been through it with my endometriosis group, because this has hit all women's health charity groups. I know I got removed for saying the same thing because they were using the same weird language.
Yep.
Can't use this, can't say that, can't. It's so
Yeah, well, that
bizarre.
happened to me with the PCOS. That's what piqued me. I weren't even allowed to talk about that because some bloke got upset. And all of these things are getting taken over. And everybody said, oh, your rights is not like pie. And trans rights is not affecting women's rights. And look what it's doing. We can't even talk about our own function without
Why
having
are
to
they
worry
allowed
about it
to
being shut
demand
down
it?
for
Why
some
are they
bloke.
allowed to have the language changed, but we're not allowed to keep some like our language? Why is it? The demands are too much.
Well, again, though,
Way
this
too
is-
much.
the demands for this language change, I don't think they are actually coming from trans women, although they might be at the top in regards to trans activism. But on the ground, a lot of these people who are challenging this are non-binary women and trans men who hate their female bodies so much that they.
I would argue also straight men that have got nothing fucking to do with this.
Yeah. They get a kick out of it.
You know,
They do.
They just like stop talking about your disgusting body.
Yeah.
Just this week, Posey Parker put a poster up in New Zealand with the dictionary definition of woman on a building, and it got taken down. And all these politicians were like, "That is disgusting." And it's like,
Of course
literally,
it did.
it's a dictionary definition of a woman. You are sending a message that women are disgusting and needs to be taken out of the public realm.
Even bereaved mothers. There was a trans activist, and I'm not going to name them. And it was last year. It's Sans.
That is
you know
awful.
Iris, don't you? What I'm going to say. And they, a famous trans activist went after bereaved mothers for saying they want to keep the word mother because it means a lot to them, and they went after them and called them bigots, and that they're using their trauma to, But they'd been to court to have be called father in law, but we're not.
Oh God, that's sick.
I know who this fucker is.
Freddie
Do you know
McConnell.
what I thought you meant? You know what I thought you meant? Sorry, before it goes out my head, there was a group of miscarriage group,
Right.
and there was one trans Tim who went in and wanted the women to role act with him being pregnant, and then even losing the baby.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And the women who
I saw that guy.
did that,
I've got all the screens for that.
I thought that's what you was going to say.
Well, I was going to bring this up. So part of me, I'm sat in the bath thinking, do you know what? Maybe they're better off without those support groups, because it won't be long before you have men in there trying to say, like, the baby won't latch on, like that couple that was all over Twitter.
Can I share this video with the viewers? Because I've got hang on.
It's so foul.
Let me bring this up because I think people need to see So they've got a little frame of reference what we're talking
Mothers
about.
don't need this. Mothers don't need men taking over like this, and that's what will happen. They'll come in the groups, and the mothers won't have a chance.
Family. Oh,
So that's a man.
the baby has been able to latch, but I've not been able to produce any milk. That's okay, because we're gonna supplement the feeding with formula.
You're a man.
My baby's still getting the nutrients that they need, but I'm still feeling hopeful. I appreciate you so much for all your work.
Why are they naked?
Disgusting human being.
This is so
I don't
gross.
care what he identifies as. It's so disgusting.
It's
Why
just
are
a
they
really
naked?
crazy looking
Innocent
straight
baby through
couple.
that.
Can I just point out the body language here? Look at that body language. How is that? The mother is like looking submissively on the shoulder. That looks like a bloke holding a baby with his wife. I mean, I know, but I mean,
It's disgusting.
the images that the image says 1,000 words.
It does.
Absolutely right, because that does actually play into the stereotypes of male and female, actually, because you don't typically see a male cuddle into the woman like that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It just feels completely off. It feels
Birdie,
completely off.
feels off because it is. It goes against human nature. That baby's not getting any nutrients. So what we're feeling uncomfortable because we know that baby's not getting anything because so that means the man's putting himself first. There's something going on.
But I'll tell you what, it's more than that.
Whatever. It's not putting the baby
It's
first.
more than that.
Baby's not
It's
come
more
first.
than the baby not getting nutrients. It is exactly what you said. The baby not coming first. That guy's got to get his rocks off, and that's the most important bit.
You never work for that. People that use children to get their rocks off.
What? Yeah, what's the
called
name?
Oh, the
paedophile.
baby. Where did I hear that from? Where did I get that phrase from? I've never said it before. It just came out.
Right.
I don't know what's happening to me.
Did anybody read the article that was released a few years ago about a trans woman's journey to breastfeed their own child?
Yeah,
And they went to a doctor and they got like a certain formula of chemicals to
Dumperiodone.
The
Oh,
baby,
it winds me up.
the wife had given birth, and then he literally just stole the baby and went off and breastfed it first off. And like, I'm sorry, but isn't there something technical about the first breast milk that you give to your baby? It's filled with important nutrients that give you all kinds of antibodies. All like a beautiful shot of everything that you need. And
I've never had kids.
He even said in so many words that he was
women.
getting a sexual thrill from it.
Yeah, of course
it was
disgusting.
It was
so disgusting. Because we know.
Better off not being groups because these men are going to incorporate it and women are not going to need that. They are going to be told all like gaslit and have fetish put in front of them at their most vulnerable times. So that we can't have anything nice, we can't have anything special or support or help, and we can't speak our own language. And I'm going to bring it back to class because I'm telling you now, working class women are not at fucking darts, right? They're not at their darts teams. Like Denise at darts is at the hen and like the hound and hen isn't saying we're now going to be called cervix swingers, right? Because our prolapses, we're on the waiting list. Our prolapses are down by our knees. We're not that because it hurts other people's feelings. Saying women's darts, not happening. Oh, and by the way, we can't call it the hound and hen. It's because hens have cocks. It's not happening. It's not fucking happening. Working class women are not making these.
And they're not letting their babies either. For sure, they're not doing that. I said they're not letting their husbands breastfeed their babies. For sure.
Exactly.
I'm swearing, I am so angry. It's disgusting, and I know it's middle class.
Did you see that group? Apparently, there was a group. I don't know, a breastfeeding group. I think it might have been in Canada, who were going to offer support for trans women who wanted to breastfeed their babies. And I think a lot of the support workers were kicking off because they were just like, I don't know how to support this.
Yeah.
This is all fetish. It's all fantasy.
Fetish is.
And if you are saying you're a
don't do it.
trans man, if you are saying you are a trans man, if you identify as a trans man, I just think then that midwives, we have a midwife in the family, and they are so accommodating and professional, and there's going to be no problem with, and addressing them with proper pronouns. They're going to do that, so there's no problem.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. If you're going to say
no
that you're a bloke, why would you want to give birth? If you're going to say, I'm not a woman anymore, and I'm a bloke now, and I don't want anything to do with womanhood, and I don't have periods, or I do have periods, but that's because men have periods too. I don't understand why you would get pregnant. I don't understand why you would have a baby. I don't understand why you would be worried about that sort of thing. Just don't have a baby if you're a man.
Well, I think that it comes down to the erasure of sex. Like, we've turned gender performance into what women and men are. So if that's the case, then obviously bodily functions don't mean anything, and a man can breastfeed a baby. I mean, it makes no sense. But I think this is the reasoning. This is why trans men can conceive of themselves as men in the performative route, but then can be totally fine with going out and having a baby. Like, I think that that's where that crazy
I agree with you. I see what you're saying, but I don't fucking like it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm just.
It don't make any sense.
No,
if you're going to conform to stereotype, then you will accept that men can't have babies, and you will follow that and conform that for your life, rather than going, well, I'm breaking the boundaries, and also men can have babies now. Yay! No, you're not breaking the boundaries. You're sticking to the boundaries, and you're staying well within the boundaries, and you're going to tie yourself to the boundaries and call yourself a man.
Yeah.
Stick with that then.
Yeah.
Make your mind up.
No,
Didn't mean to rant. Sorry, guys. I've had 4 beers.
You're like J.K. Rowling. We're not having none of it.
Yeah.
She don't talk like that. I bet she talks all lovely. She's all like all soft spoken. She probably thinks before she speaks. She probably drinks gin or wine. She's all just lovely and glossy.
One of those really like softly spoken Scottish accents, like "Hello, I'm Scottish."
Yes.
She lives in a castle.
And she doesn't interrupt anybody ever. She just listens, and then she says something gracefully.
Oh, we'll have to stop you. You'll have to go, Birdie. Let's get in touch with JK.
Yeah, let's get her on. Let's get her on the show.
We love you, J.K. Rowling.
I'm not sending her anything again, because she'll just get a restraining order out on me. So you lot have to do it now.
We finish that topic. Shall we go on to the next one?
Yeah, go on then.
So I want to talk about something. So lockdown is easing. Festivals are happening. And I don't know about you, but I am looking to go out in a field somewhere and get absolutely, let me say, inappropriate, just like what a festival is for, relaxing, letting your hair down. And then the other day, Birdie was in a Facebook conversation in a group for a festival called WOMANFEST, which I'm trying to bring it up now here. Hang on, where is it? Which I put out a question because I wasn't really sure who the festival was for. Let me find this here. It's an all-women radical participation festival for all, that's in capitals, women, wombin, and women X. So I put a little comment. I put a little comment saying Wimbund.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Wimbund.
They deleted my comments. They took my comments off.
Oh no! I should have screenshot.
I forgot to get back on there and have a go. Sorry. Carry on.
So I was looking into it. I was like, okay, let me pretend that I really want to go to this awful festival. And I'm trying to bring it up. Right, okay. So a ticket costs £125. Yeah. For this festival, it's £125, but they haven't put any events on. It's like we're gonna make it all ourselves. It's really inclusive, and yeah, they have no acts, nothing planned for it.
They ain't even got the Spice Girls. Nothing. For 125 quid. We're not seeing the Spice Girls. No.
They're charging you £125 for a tent pitch.
A tent pitch to go
On an empty field?
in an
And
empty
you have fun.
field. In an
That's what it
empty
sounds like.
field, yeah. And also they've banned it's vegan, and there's no drugs or alcohol.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that ain't a festival. That ain't a
Guys.
festival.
Festival.
That ain't a festival. That's a cult meeting.
Yeah.
Not a festival.
Okay, £145 or 240. This just covers our ability to put the festival on and to feed everyone, to make it available as possible to all women. We could be charging a lot more, but we are anti-commercialization. So if you feel you can afford, please donate here. And basically, like, they want people to like come along and just put on shows and stuff. And they have this one event. They want to build up maintenance crew, only for women with handy skills, brackets. And then at the end of the description, it says, badass women need only apply. I'm sorry, but
Oh
like,
my
when
God.
if somebody's putting up a stage, I want somebody who's got registration. Like, don't be like, badass woman, put that up. And I'm like,
It's like a liability.
Can I just
waiting
put
to happen?
Can I just put this out there, right? I'm going to be putting up tickets to come to my garden for £100, and you can feel free to bring a tent, but I reckon we can only fit one tent in here anyway. So first come, first served, and everybody else can stand on the street. Badass women only need apply.
Will you
Okay,
make some bad
Okay,
period
so if I accept,
No, you're not allowed to
I
talk
have
about your
to pay
periods. No, none of that talk
£125.
around here.
I have to pay £125 to pitch a tent. I have to be vegan. No drugs, no alcohol. So if I'm interested,
And it's
it's just more women.
No.
You get a yoni steaming.
Blood art. They'll make you do period blood art. You know it's serious.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know
but
it. You know it.
is it all
So make you put
women?
your tampons on your face like this, and then tell each other how good it is to be a
I'm trying to
woman.
lead on to the question: is it all women?
No, it's all AGPs,
woman.
tampons, and blood.
I did
spray.
ask. I did ask if the Wombles were going to be there. Sorry.
You messaged them though, didn't you?
Yeah, I said, are the Wombles going to be there?
What did they say?
Women.
They deleted my comments.
The Woomans. Just, what are they speaking? Bad French?
So Birdie commented and she messaged them to say, hi, is this festival
Yeah, I did.
mixed sex? What policies do you have in place to keep women and children safe? Do you have a creche? Are non-binary and trans men welcome? Are your volunteers going to be a CRB checked? And they said, is this a private event? And they took a while and they said, hi Birdie, that's a lot of questions! ! Please go to our information page. And no, we only have babes on the breast. No other children.
Okay.
So I can identify as a baby then.
I just like that they replied to me with, "Oh, that's a lot of questions," like as if they didn't expect anybody to ask them anything ever. Like, oh, quick! Somebody's read that and gone, "Oh shit, we've got questions. What do we do? Fuck, Harry, come over here, Harry, we've got questions. Bill, come here, Bill, questions. What do we do? What do we do? Greg, we got questions. I don't know what to say to this woman. yeah. Oi, Dave, it's a turf. What do I say to her? What do I say? Ridiculous.
You showed a picture. There was a picture, and there is a great big dude in a ring of power.
Oh my God, yes.
And you just think, oh, he's touching them. I just think, oh, get off me chakras. If I was there, you're touching me chakras. Get off me.
Is it a chakra or? Oh no, sorry, I was thinking of the wrong thing. Sorry, I was thinking of the kundalini. That's a different thing, isn't it?
What are they letting men in there for? Touching women's chakras? Like, piss off.
Where is that? Where is the chakra? Is it in you or
I
is
have
it?
no idea. I
You've
just
got
thought I'd just
seven
throw in some
chakras.
new age talk. I don't know what they are.
Inside.
I see them. I see what they're up to.
He's touching women. He's touching them. So fuck off. Like,
Basically, yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, it's kind of funny on one hand, but on the other side, I think it would have started out as a genuine women's festival, and I think that could be a fabulous thing. Like, especially a woman-only space, and especially something that's a bit hippie. I would say hippy-dippy. I don't mean it like that, but you know, I think there's a lot of power in a lot of the pagan magic is based upon the separation of the sexes, like male and female energy is very different, and to have a woman-only space to explore that, I think, can be really important and really, dare I say it, empowering.
Don't go too far.
Extremist content. I don't know, like it just feels like this would have started. It probably didn't have any trans women in it, or you know, like there probably wasn't the need for inclusion when it started out, and it's come along in the past few years. And I have friends who are into the paganism and stuff, and they feel like their community has been like stolen from them basically, and they're no longer welcome because they don't buy into the gender identity stuff. And I feel like it's a real shame because, like I say, I do think there's a lot of power in women's spirituality and in women-only spaces and developing that, and we're not allowed to have anything, basically nothing, no space that's women-only. Everything has got to be inclusive of penis, and
I wouldn't want a man around as well. You say babies at the breast, babes. Oh, it's really weird language again. But
a bit weird, isn't it? It is weird.
I don't know. Looking at me while I'm breastfeeding. I don't want that. I think I'm just going to look at you like you're a perv. If you think so, very uncomfortable for trying to welcome mums like you.
But like, I'm a woman. Like, I'm a woman, and if a woman is like breastfeeding in front of me, even I look away, and I'm a woman. I'm like, oh. Baby feeding, and it's not just because she's got her boob, it's because the baby's feeding. I don't want to watch the baby feeding. Like, I don't like people watching me eat.
Yeah, no, it's courtesy, isn't it? Just not stare out.
Of course it is.
Stare the poor mum out. You know the man's going to do that. You know it.
Well, I think there's something interesting about, I don't want to say babes on the breast, but when a woman is breastfeeding, the breasts don't seem sexualized at all. They seem like something totally different. It's
functional.
Men sexualize them. Men sexualize them.
They probably do, don't they? But,
yeah, of course they do.
And some women
breastfeeding babies now.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is all leading back to all roads lead to
men sexualize absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some women do it on men's behalf.
Yeah, on OnlyFans. There's women that like do that shit on OnlyFans, and there's women that also have OnlyFans for when they're giving birth. They like build up.
I've heard about that.
Really?
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was one.
Hang on. Whoa. Why are we surprised?
No, I don't. I have to. I really don't know.
Why are you're all butter gasping at it, but we know this shit already.
It's just so gross. It's like, come on.
I think it's an instinct, isn't it? It's an instinct to, but then you laugh and then you just
of course
give that nod that not surprised.
Of course. I bet there's a fetish for everything. I bet there's a fetish for toenails. Toenail clipping.
You know,
you can clip your toenails on the internet and somebody's getting off on it. I bet.
There is one for getting your toenails ripped out.
No, that doesn't surprise me.
Why did you have to go to the dark side?
I know. Sorry.
That is gross. Look up on Twitter. Men are on, so the girls that are binding, there are men on those sites saying they're trans women binding, and clearly they're fetishizing girls binding. So there's nothing.
My God.
yeah, they're there, and they're on these teenage girl sites.
Clown World.
It's gone full circle though, hasn't it? It's like they're going to be identifying soon as women identifying as men. Well, identifying as women identify. Do you know what I mean? Like this
like is going itself.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Like that woman who identifies as a man who's a drag queen on RuPaul's Drag Race. I heard about it. I've not seen it.
Got Milk. That's her name.
Her name is Got Milk, and
you can really tell she's a she as well.
Well,
the way she acts.
She looks
her body, everything, because she's a
yeah.
She looks like a woman who's identifying as a twink. You know, like a really effeminate guy. And I think
a gay guy.
And I don't know. Like if I was a gay man, I would find that really offensive. Yeah. Like, I mean, as offensive as I find it to see men co-opting womanhood, I think I would find it weird if like there was a butch dyke man. Like, what are you doing? Are you just I don't know. It just seems like everything's gone like this now.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And there are men who identify as butch lesbians, and I'm like,
I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, they like put on a flannel. And they're like, "This is my butch dyke outfit for the day." It's so weird.
No, you're just a bloke. Calm down. Calm your tits, mate.
Leave the lesbians
Your fake
alone.
tits.
Leave them alone, you dirtbag.
Dirtbag.
Yeah, they are. They're, doing what in Chloe's video, at the beginning of Chloe's video. That's what they're doing.
Oh, hang on. So if people haven't seen this,
oh my god,
I'm going to put it on.
Do a disclaimer. Let everyone know they're going to be sick in their mouths.
Sorry.
Right. They're going to. You've not seen this, have you, Tanya?
No.
I
think so.
Oh, I'm going to love this. This is what I woke up to this morning.
What do I do now, eh? I'm gonna go on Twitter and call some women tops! A-A-R-F! No! Wait, who are you calling a turf, you wanker? Anyone? Oh my god, I'm not afraid of being called turfs anymore. What do I do?
That's the thing that kills me every time.
What do I do now? I'm
That's really what they do all day.
That is actually true, because people are not afraid of being called it anymore, and they're like, "What do we do? What do we do?"
Block.
So good.
Block.
Oh my god.
That is so funny.
You have a wild imagination, Chloe.
It's brilliant.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Made my eyes
More
water
of that,
again.
please.
Can I take a moment to explain my mug? This is like not feminist whatsoever. I just feel like I own the greatest mug in existence.
See, bring it closer.
So this is Chloe's mug.
We need to see this mug. Come
on. So on one side, I'll explain it. It says, "I became a vegetarian in Malta," and then there's a picture of Bob Marley. Yeah, okay. And on the other side, it says, "Good girls go to heaven, beautiful girls come CUM in Malta," and then there's some Fitbirds here, and then there's Marilyn Monroe, and then there's Al Pacino, and then there's some tribal tattoos on the mug, and then Malta stuff in case you know where it's from. I'm just like, how does this
I love it so much. How much did you pay for it? How much was it?
My friend got it from Malta for me.
Oh, it's the best mug I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
We should be like, Yo, KJ. Yo, Kelly Jean. This is what you need to do for a mug.
Hey, yes.
Oh, hang on. No,
I was even thinking just now.
Make a really shitty
Really?
I was
shit
thinking just now.
Yeah.
I should make a random mug like that. One with like the monkey butt plug man on it. And we can put what else can we put on it? We can put Owen Jones crying on it. We can put loads of stuff on it. It'd be great.
Butter gas, monkey dildo butt monkey. Rainbow dildo butt monkey.
Yeah.
Stop being obsessed with genitals. You're obsessed with genitals. That's what you lot are.
Yes, that's it. Obsessed.
This is yeah, this is how I like.
I mean, apparently.
So, this is my mug. It's not your mug. It's your mug. Yeah, I think to find
We're going to put it out there that Speaker's Corner has changed the date just because I've had women messaging me saying, "Oh, is it moved?" And I had no idea. So,
yep. Yeah. So it's moved to the 1st of August, which is a change from the usual. Usually, it's held on the last Sunday of every month, but for this month, it's going to be moved to the 1st. It's top secret. There's going to be a secret guest. It's going to be amazeballs. It's going to be the best episode of Speaker Corner you've ever seen. Please come down. We're going to be there, aren't you? Yeah, you're going to do a poll, aren't you?
I don't say that. No.
So good. You should definitely do it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to be down there, aren't we? The whole Woom Crew team.
All the bigots together.
Bigots, massive.
You're definitely coming, Cinzia.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm.
Okay.
With free merch. With merch.
I want to come to September. Whenever the September one is, that's when I'm going to be there.
Okay.
Awesome. It'd be so cool. Because I think I owe you lots of Vimto and vodka.
Fuck off. I'm not drinking vodka anymore. It's so naughty for me. I turn into a Larry little girl. I shouldn't say girl because all the trials online had a go. No, they had all the trials had a go at me for calling myself a girl.
I remember that.
Ridiculous. They need to get a job or a life or something.
I'll just make you drink it and just say, no, it's a rum and coke, you bigot. It's rum and coke.
It identifies as.
Speaking of being a controversial artist, Birdie, you got into trouble with one of your stickers this week, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Did I? Well, I drew a picture and it was a dress. It was a pink dress. It was nice and Larry. And it says, men are men, even if they wear a dress.
Yeah.
And that really that upset a lot of people. And do you know what was funny? There was a few women that were upset about it, but mostly it was straight men that were upset about it. And I just don't well, I do understand a bit, but
they're just showing the homophobia, aren't they?
I just thought it was a good message.
Yeah,
I like it. I really like it, especially with the dress and the background, the DNA strands.
DNA background.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: like 10 years ago, that would have been a progressive message 10 years ago, or even 12 or 15 years ago. That's progressive, and that's proper sort of step in the right direction. Men can wear a dress. It's fine. It doesn't make you less of a man. And now we've got straight men going, what do you mean it doesn't make you less of a man? It definitely makes you a woman, you bigot. And I'm like, Jesus, calm down. If you don't like it, don't look. It's fine. I'm not going to judge you for not looking at my art.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't look. Like they keep saying to us, don't look.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't look at the penis in your face, you little pervert. Well, how about you don't look at my picture of a dress, you little pervert?
This is the thing. We're supposed to turn our eyes away from penises, but they can't turn their eyes away from a billboard with the dictionary definition of a woman on it.
Right.
It's
Don't
so
look.
true.
If you don't like it, don't look.
Don't look.
Hey.
Very true.
Yeah. That's
well,
a good
that
line.
was my story. That was my story out the way with, and I finished another drink. I'm opening another one.
Okay,
Who's next?
Can I say though? Can I add to that, please? You've mentioned the
Yes.
dress. You didn't mention the jeans. The one about.
Oh,
I didn't like it.
what do you mean? The one
I don't
about the
know,
trousers?
Because the first one rhymed so nicely, and it was so pretty. And then you had a pair of jeans, and women can be wearing jeans, leggings, blah blah blah. It just didn't. I don't
It
know.
didn't flow. I changed it as well. I changed it to the jeans in the middle, like an equal sign, and then it said at the top, "Women are women, even if they wear trousers," and that was that.
Yeah.
But the second one was more just sort of, there needs to be a counter argument. I'll figure it out.
Birdie, why does that ring a bell about women wearing trousers in the Victorian times? I swear I've read something along the lines of that women back then were trying to explain that they're still women while wearing trousers.
Yeah, well, in the Victorian times, there was actually, I'll do my research on this and talk about this another time, but there was a woman in the Victorian times who was really well off, and she dressed up head to toe in like men's clothing, and she looked sharp as fuck, you know, like Ruby Rose, but in the Victorian time, sharp as fuck. And she very much made a point that this is it's okay for women to do this, and that it doesn't make you less of a woman to do it. And I think we've lost sight of that a little bit along the way. I forgot what my point was. I'm drinking, so I'll leave you to it.
That women can wear trousers and still be women.
Well, yeah, of course they can. But it wasn't just trousers. This one woman in Victorian time, I saw a picture of her on a boat, and she was head to toe like a bloke. Even I think she even had the short hair, either that or she tied it back really tight.
Why are
and
we
she
still
had it
saying
so it
this
looked short.
100 years later, 150 years later, and we're still saying this? And we're, you know, so progressive. Well, who was the lesbian? They had a BBC show about her, and who dressed as Gentleman Jack and
Basement Melissa. Yeah, Gentleman Jack. Yeah, I mean it's been going on. It's been going on for years. If you've got enough wealth and money, she had the money to just be like, fuck off, I own this land. And
some of her writing talks about lesbian sex, women, all of that. You wouldn't have that in a gender studies anymore because it's all bigoted.
No.
Well, did you see the plaque? There was a plaque that was put up to celebrate her, and initially it said gender non-conforming person or something like this, and then a load of women kicked off and was like, no, she's a lesbian. Change the plaque back to lesbian, and they did. They changed it back. I'm Lester lesbian.
It just sort of hit me a few weeks back, and I started looking at a few quotes from her, and I thought, hang on a minute, the gender benders, like the crazies, they would have her banned because what she's saying is all female related, and she'd be banned, and she was a pioneer.
Do you know what though? I sometimes wonder if I'm Lister because she was rich, very gender non-conforming. I don't even know what side she'd fall down. I think, you know, like be careful what you wish for. I don't know. I think she might be on the side of gender identity arguments because, you know.
Well, here's the thing: we're calling it gender non-conforming. When really, it's just wearing clothes.
Clothes. Yeah, it's human.
Just covering up your genitals, innit? That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't believe in masculinity and femininity, those like concepts, because I just think that's human nature. Like some humans.
So, in what way do you not believe in it? Because
some humans are passive and some humans are. I think that's human nature.
But when you say that, Chinzia, I'm doing the argument that there is such thing as male pattern violence. So there is things that are attributes.
Socialization.
But I agree. Well, here's the thing: it's difficult because there's stereotypes that we've made on, and we've attributed them to sexes, But we want to try and get rid of those stereotypes because they don't always count, and a majority of the time they're inaccurate. But we have to recognise that those stereotypes come from somewhere, and that there are truths in it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. definitely feel that socialization, so just simple things like giving the men and males more food at the dinner table, that's working class do that.
My nan still does that.
Mum's been working just as hard too. She's been on her feet. It starts there. The men are the male is put on a pedestal. So I do believe that there's socialization, as in the males are privileged and they feel they can get away with shit because they're privileged. But that's
and maybe that worked out for a little while when women were, rightly or wrongly, women were at home bringing up the kids, which I personally think is a very difficult job to do, and the man was at work, which I personally think is easier. That maybe that worked for a little while, but we've grown out of that as a society, right? We've grown out of it.
I don't think that's ever been the case for working class women, because my grandmother always worked. She always had jobs. Working class women have always been breadwinners, and even like if you go back into the mill days, a lot of the mill workers, the husbands would stay at home after the kids. The women had the roles, and I think this idea, it's like based on some mythical 1950s archetype of like middle class suburbia, which I don't think it was the case for. I mean, my mother always worked. My grandmother on my father's side worked. On the mother's side, he was a pharmacist and she didn't work. But I mean, I say that, but she still worked. She didn't.
That's a really good point. That is a good point.
The sort of myths around men working harder, even though like my mum worked really hard, right? She was always on her feet. So
all day long as well. Don't stop.
Your dad works harder, so he needs food. And I also think like brothers see their sisters being punished if they lose their virginity and being beaten up, but they get a pat on the back. What is that going to do to a lad? Like, and how they behave towards women or how they feel about women, and that is like I've experienced that. So because I've experienced it. I just think socialization has definitely got a lot to do with how lads behave.
I do agree with you as well, because I do know people that have told me personally that they expect more of their daughters than of their sons, and so like if they leave the house, their daughter has got to make sure the house is running smoothly. All the son has to do is make sure he's not out drinking every night or whatever,
No, definitely that's what I feel anyway. But
I think there's truth. I think. Do you know what? Do you know what's difficult about this is that I can say there's truth to stereotypes, and that's why we have these expectations of male and female. And you can say you don't believe in it. I think we're both right, and I think that's what's difficult about the argument, because everybody wants someone to be right. They want themselves to be right, and they're not willing to accept that maybe everyone's right, and that we've got to figure this out.
I think I'm more easygoing with people saying, "No, I think you're wrong." Like when it comes up, 2-3 years ago, I was just damn right, you're wrong, and now I'm a little bit more okay. Biology,
me too.
Tiny bit. I'm gonna, have a little bit of leeway.
I think that's my one takeaway from this debate. I used to believe it was all nurture and it was hardly any nature, and now I believe that it's a complicated matrix and it's really hard to pull it apart.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Even scientists will say that they don't know if it's nature or nurture, which one wins out. It's always a bit of both. It's always both. And even it don't matter what we're talking about. It's always a bit of both.
My friend, butch lesbian, she brought up the fact that women that are on testosterone, so trans men, they are not sexually assaulting at the rate of men. And so that there is, I know she brought that up. Like, so they're not.
That is very interesting.
They're not identifying into male pattern abuse behaviour, are they?
I would be interested though, is if this is going to be very controversial. We might get some comments about this. Women that are on testosterone, are they sexually assaulting at a rate that's higher than women that are not on testosterone?
I don't think so. No,
they're not.
I don't think so.
I
don't hold me to that. I don't know.
I have a hard time believing that women do this at the rate of men at all. So it's not at the rate of men. It's at the rate of women that are not on testosterone.
You've got that argument that testosterone causes men to be, sexually assaulted and aggressive.
But that's bollocks, right? Because I've got PCOS, I've got more testosterone than I should have, and you don't see me being aggressive.
Same.
And that's what her point was, that, you know, that's not the case, because trans men, like women who say they're men, are not. I don't think they are. I mean, we would have, look, we've been in this game long enough, it would have come out, the details, like, you know, stats and stuff, and I don't think they are.
Yeah.
I
That
think
makes
though,
sense.
I've spoken to people who've been on testosterone, well, women who've been on testosterone, and they have said like it does change your sexuality. You're constantly thinking about sex. They have sympathy for men because they've had testosterone and they do understand like it's a powerful drug, and they are constantly thinking about sex. But one thing that I would actually argue and think about is, we say like, to what extent is women on testosterone comparable to men on testosterone? To what extent is trans women on female hormones comparable to females? It's not. It's women on testosterone do not have the same experience as men on testosterone. So
no, they don't. And also, I'm gonna make the argument as well that constantly thinking about sex and being highly sexually driven is very different to being a rapist.
Mm-hmm.
Very different.
That's a power and control. That's it's not just about sex, is it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Domination.
Yeah.
Tanya,
we've gone really serious tonight, haven't we?
Hey, we should all have a bit of our beer.
Have you got something to talk with us tonight, Tanya? You're always giving us the word pond.
Come on, Tanya. Give us the dots from the other side of the pond.
Well, what I do know is that the California corrections are passing out condoms to inmates, to the males that are being transferred to the female prisons, which is pretty crazy because sex isn't even supposed to be allowed in prison. And obviously they're doing this to prevent pregnancy, which would prevent people from knowing that women are being raped inside of prisons. But yeah, so that's happening. Woman to Woman Inc. is posting about it on Twitter. And also for people to go to www.stop-SB132, the Transgender Respect Agency and Dignity Act. Just, I guess, to like sign a petition to be against it. And I don't know if any of you guys have listened to that Women's Liberation Front have been taking calls from incarcerated women, and the women inside are just talking about how they're afraid and how they can't defend themselves, because if they do, they could get more time than they already have, you know, and they want to get out to their families. I feel like I might have brought that up before. But yeah, listening to the phone call of a woman talking about that is just like really heartbreaking. And the women inside feel really extra trapped and extra like no one's looking out for them, because the guards don't even want to get involved because they're afraid of like a lawsuit happening. So pretty much no one's protecting these women. And, you know, organizations like WOOF and Woman to Woman Inc. and like a few others are like the only people that are getting letters from incarcerated women and giving them a voice to speak out. And people, you know, what was it? Cubana Angel, she did her whole press conference and she's fighting against like the laws that are happening in California. And I saw Gavin Newsom tweet something like, it's only a small minority of people that think this or whatever, which is just fucking ridiculous.
Is Cubana Angel, is she the woman from the Wingspot incident video who was challenging the policy of allowing men into the women's section?
Yeah. She's made a Twitter too, and she has a website now. And she did say for people to contact her if they're interested in helping out. So I might message her just to see like what she's doing or what she has planned.
Do it.
Yeah.
You know what,
I'm gonna give her.
I think this brings us back to what Iris started out off with the religious people or the Muslim community in Redbridge. She was speaking out against what's happening. And I think that's an interesting point to make. I think they're raising all relevant points. But again, it's just like the only people that care about child safeguarding would be religious people, which is nonsense. But they're the people who are able to galvanize and get people
right
there.
They already have such a strong community, so
yeah,
you know what I mean. Whereas like in the States, at least, like we're all so spread out, like radical feminists and stuff, so it's like harder to get our communities together. Plus there's so many women that are still so afraid to come out and do anything in public.
Yeah, I mean that demonstration showed them what will happen if they try.
I think good on them. You know, I'm not necessarily going to support everything that they say, but on this particular argument, I think good. Mount a legal challenge, because the law is not about whether or not somebody's a good person or a bad person or this and that. It's about taking into consideration the rights of the people involved in the situation. And we need to get the rights of women against transgender males taken seriously by the courts and by the politicians. You know, this is not about anything.
Be honest. I think the judges should be honest and tell the women while they're in court that oh, by the way, you've got the extra threat of rape while in prison. That's part of your punishment. And let the whole world. That's what you're doing.
It's state-sanctioned sexual assault.
Enrages me that anyone would treat, and we've got that in the UK. They've allowed it. Rapists. And they have mother and baby units. They have mother and baby units.
I know. Same here.
There are no riots in female prisons. It says it all. They're not violent places. We get, they sexually assault each other. That's what they do. No, they don't.
I know. It's crazy bringing men from maximum security places into minimum security. And the thing is it's not homosexual trans women that are trying to get into female prisons, right? Because
they don't want to go to women's prisons.
Right. They want to stay in men's prisons. They can find a lover usually, and they usually prostitute themselves out so they can get more money on their commissary. So the only fucking men that are trying to get into women's prisons are predators. Yeah. And you can tell by their rap sheets. It's fucking ridiculous because they know they're going to get their ass beat for being a fucking chomo if they go to a male prison, you know? It's just crazy.
Yeah. Someone said to me on Twitter that the types of men that are fighting to be in women's spaces are not the types of men that women would ever want in their spaces. I think that's true.
It's very true. It's not like fucking Laverne Cox is going to be coming and hanging out with you in prison, you know?
It's a great big hairy rapist who's 6'5" and built like a...
Right. It's like, and we know this because we post, like people find out their past rap sheets, you know? It's men that have kidnapped and killed women, men that have killed their own children, men that have sexually assaulted children. All of them have disgusting rap sheets. It's in something like the percentage of trans women in jail like is super high that all have like violent or like sexual
offenses.
Yeah,
big time.
I think with regards to the condoms, like they're issued with 3 condoms a month. Do you know what that made me think actually, which is something that I have thought in the past? Why are not male prisoners issued with as many condoms as they wish to have safe sex in prisons? Because to me, it's not about whether or not they should have sex. It's about a public health policy whereby if people are having unprotected sex in the prison system, if men are having anal sex with one another in the prison system, that can cause all sorts of spreads of STIs. Yeah. That's not happening. They're not giving out free condoms in the male prison. Like they're not just available.
I think they might be in California, but I'm not positive. I think the woman who posted this information, I think that she said that they do, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't know if that's like based on state either. But yeah, it's just crazy because they're not supposed to be having sex, but I mean, yeah, they're going to do it anyway. So yeah, it should be to a health policy, but it's also just like here in Virginia, like you can't go buy syringes to go shoot your drugs, but you can go get them to shoot testosterone if you want, which is like fucking insane.
Yeah.
Silk Road is a hell of a drug, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, really.
Well, I suppose the prison service is making a cut, or there's some sort of tax going somewhere, isn't there?
Do you know what I thought?
I don't trust anything anymore.
I just had a thought when you were mentioning this, Tanya. It just popped into my head. So like, don't quote me on this, but I'm thinking. It's now prisons are about making money. Do you think they're trying to up the female prisons into maximum security prisons so they can make more money out of public security services? Suddenly, like this thing that doesn't make them much money, women's services, like they're not going to get money for like teaching women how to crochet with their emotions and spot penetrating. If they make all the prisons maximum security, there's more money in them for that, isn't there? And
it's possible, yeah. I mean, and the way a lot of them make money too is through like slave labor. You know what I mean? Like the jobs that you do, like they'll have you working for like a shoe factory or something, but you're making like 40 cents like a day on your commissary, which is like nothing. So it's like there's so many companies that are invested in prison slave labor here because of the privatization of the prisons. It's really fucked up. But yeah, that's I mean, that's a possibility for sure.
That thought just entered my head, and I'm just like, could that be a part of the reason why the authorities are thinking about it? You know, like, is it about in the United Kingdom they're doing more privatization of jails? Like they are becoming privatized. Ken Livingstone, who's the Tory who's like supposed to be on the left, but he's kind of there's a politician who's been privatizing the prisons basically. And we're heading the way that you are, Tanya. It's going that way. They're making like youth prisons as well, like prison kids who have had some troubles in schools can have
and it's just a pipeline. That shit's just like a pipeline straight into regular prison too. You know what I mean? And they make it so hard to not go back. Like the recidivism rates are just really high because when you get out, you have a ton of fines to pay. You have to work a certain amount of hours, like 40 hours a week. It's really hard to get a job when you're a felon in the first place. And when you do, you usually get abused and used. You usually don't get paid like what you ought to. Like people, you know, they know that they've got you under their thumb when you're working as a felon. And I mean, there's just so many obstacles to like getting back into a normal life that a lot of people just are like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go back. It sucks and it's really sad. And it's here they criminalize juveniles a lot. Like that's a really huge problem in poor communities and working class communities. Kids going to like juvenile hall or kids being tried as an adult, and just basically kids that grow up in like foster care, group homes, like juvenile hall, and then eventually to prison.
Well, Katie, if you're right, it suits them, doesn't it, to have everyone, like the public, believe that women are violent, you know, predators, sexually assaulting each other. Suits them, doesn't it?
It's so annoying when people say that too. Well, women rape women too in prison, and it's like, shut the fuck up.
No, do you know what they say that really annoys me?
What?
Do you know what really fucks me off? People saying that women rape men at the same rate or more than women, than men rape women.
Porn.
And
They
I'm
watch
like,
too much
Who
porn.
are these idiots?
people
true.
do say that.
I know they do, but they watch.
They
too
say,
much
and they
porn.
say that if anything, it's equal both ways.
And it's insane because it's not. You can look at the statistics. I mean, even though they're being skewed now because men are being called women who are committing these acts, it's crazy town.
I think it's a porn fantasy. That's what I think it is. It's porn fantasy, and they're trying to like believe that that's real life, and it's not.
Well, like over the past 10 years since they brought in self-ID, female violence rates, or maybe sexual assault rates, have increased by 1/3. And when you consider the fact that a small percentage of these dangerous men identifying as women can now be considered as women, that could quantify for the facts. But maybe it isn't. Maybe women are being influenced by porn and are getting more violent and more sexually aggressive. That's something we should be able to deal with as a society. But these stats, the fact that men can self-identify is whichever sex they wish, it's making it really difficult for us to make any kind of like sense of what's going on in the world, you know?
Right.
But
right. It's
even
like
if it is going up, even if it is going up in women, if it's going up in women because of porn, then it's going up in men significantly higher than it is going up in women. So that even the men still outweigh the women.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's beliefs.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it's beliefs that women are sexually assaulted come from porn. Because of that, like that, the raping their, manager or whatever in his office. I think that's a porn fantasy, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that this caused the sexual assault like for women to go up. I'm saying those beliefs, because I've just been told it so many times that.
Oh
no!
Oh! That the man
as well.
Hang on.
So I hope you all did that when I left the room.
No, didn't notice. Did you leave? When did you leave?
Yeah.
I think that's the beliefs that women are raping is coming from porn. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. I think that even things like, has anybody watched what's the Killing Eve? It's a brilliant show, and it's about a female assassin, and she's cool as fuck. I've got a massive crush on her. Obviously not because she kills lots of people. And
okay,
but like,
sure.
I think that things like media, which makes that like the femme fatale thing, and like even now I'm looking at things like Kill Bill, which initially I'm like, yeah, girls can kick butt of men. And it's like they can't know, like that's not realistic.
I love Kill Bill. I love it. But yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
I've never seen Kill Bill. I've never seen it. Is it good?
You're just determined to. Oh God! How? There's two of them. There's two of them.
Am I getting cancelled?
Yes.
Have I upset you all?
Yes.
What can I do? What can I do to win you all back?
You're supposed to be an artist of pop culture and everything.
All right, vodka and Vimto it is.
You know nothing. But if I punched a man, my hand would break into pieces. It would just crumble. You know.
Yeah.
No, it would. Yeah. If I tried to punch a man, I think my hand would just crumble.
But then the best scene is with the two women fighting. That's my favourite part.
But part two
at the Lucy Liu.
Yeah. I still love it as a film, but I still think I do worry that like this kung fu women make the society think that women can be as violent as men and can compete with men, and it's a hard lesson to learn because I didn't want to learn it. I was like, yeah, I'm just as hard as a man. But when you get yourself into an altercation with a man who's trying to be sexually violent with you, you realize very, very quickly that you are not an equal match for him. Even if you go to the gym and do Pilates and do pump classes and punch weights, not punch weights, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be able to like
get him off you because they are too strong.
Yeah, but even like professional female fighters have said the getting hit by a man is dazzling, like as in it stuns you because it's something else. It's not the same as fighting a woman. The
Like
the
the woman
power
who
behind a man,
was
power
found
behind a
trapped.
man is totally different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm mindful of the time. Shall we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a few
Go to
days
bed.
offline.
This
Guys,
has been
come
wicked. I forgot we were recording.
come to Speakers Corner on the 1st of August.
Yes.
Hyde Park, Speakers Corner.
Yeah,
It's going to be awesome, isn't it?
it will be. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. See you there.
See you later.
Bye.